excited to finally be able to bring this to you. So this is our very first video in our Create With Me series where I share my screen with you and we create TPT products together. So this first video is going to be a make and take video, and what that means is you will be making this right along with me, and when you're done you can take it with you and upload it to TPT and sell it if that is what you want to do. So with that being said, you will need 2 devices today. You will need one device to watch this video on, and you can pause, rewind, fast forward if you need to. And this could be a phone or an iPad or anything that you can use to watch videos on. And then the other device needs to be something that has PowerPoint. So probably like a MacBook or a computer or something that you can use easily and create with easily. Other than that, if you have any questions, I do encourage you to be sure to leave those in the comments, because on Friday, September 4th, 2020, we will be having a live Q&A in my Facebook group, and I will be answering all of those questions, clearing up misconceptions, or just helping in any way that I can. Okay, let's get started. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be creating some task cards today, and I'm going to try to make this as quick and simple as possible. You are going to be using PowerPoint to create today, and the first thing I recommend doing is just going ahead and making a blank presentation, and you're going to erase everything off your slide. Now, if you do not change the size of this when you print your task cards, they are going to print awkwardly and they're just not going to fit correctly. So you're going to have to change the size of this to a regular size sheet of paper. So you're going to just make it 8.5 by 11, just like a regular sheet of paper. I always tell people designing anything really for Teachers Pay Teachers or for your classroom, I always think about it as like digital scrapbooking. And the great thing with PowerPoint is you can pretty much move and organize things however you wish. So when I'm doing task cards, I really like to get a good like decorative background. So I find that on Teachers Pay Teachers, and you just search for digital papers. Sometimes I do purchase my papers, but for this purpose, I'm going to look for free ones. So you guys can do the same, and feel free to, find the ones that you like the most. I'm going to just look for some cute ones that kind of stand out. Oh, those are cute. Let's do those. I'm going to download them. And unzip them. All right. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint and just make note of, what they're called so you can go find them. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint, and then I'm going to format my background. And what this does, this will put your papers in your background so they can't be moved around. So I want to do a picture, and then I'm going to go find that file that I just downloaded. I believe it started with an H. There it is. Let's see. Let's do something colorful, but it's kind of... Sure, let's do this. Okay, so now I have my background, and I'm going to go ahead and insert a shape. If you are to type on this, you're probably not going to be able to see it very well, so I always do just a very neutral, really a blank slate on top of the pretty background. So I drew in my rectangle. Now I'm going to double click it and then go up to the shape fill and change it to white. And then I'm going to change the outline of it to black. Okay. Put it to where it kind of looks like it's in the center. Maybe show some stars above it. Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy and paste. Let's see, I better take that up a little bit so when you cut these in half, it'll kind of be even. Okay, so I have 2 separate task cards. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do something that's going to be kind of targeted to first grade because that's what I'm teaching. But if you want to pause this and just take a minute to think about what kind of task cards you want to do, that's completely fine. For me, I'm going to do some making 10 task cards. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a table here. Let's do 5 columns with 2 rows because I'm going to be making some 10 frames. Now when you make a table, it pretty much always starts out like this, but I don't want it to look like this. So I'm going to highlight everything and just change my shading to white. But I gotta make sure that my borders show up, and I want to do all borders. So now it kind of looks like a 10 frame. I'm going to make mine bigger. Make it pretty big. And you will notice that PowerPoint is really great because it will show you like when you're in the center of your rectangle. So it has that little dashed line, which is super helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. Now for my task cards, I'm going to provide a little number sentence for the kiddos. So I'm going to draw a text box, go ahead and put it in the center. I really like the font Century Gothic. It's a plain font. It comes with, I think, most computers. Of course, my computer's being super slow right now. But it's a plain font. It comes with most computers, and it just looks really nice and clean. Of course, my computer's going to do this right now. Okay, so let's go find Century Gothic. There it is. Okay, so I want this to, see here, make it bigger. Okay, so you can change your font size by either going to this, which is pretty standard on most programs, or you can also go to this, which kind of like increases it by multiple different sizes all at once. I like to use this just because to me it's a little quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my number sentence here. So I'm going to say, let's start with 2. So 2 plus, and then blank. So they're going to try to find what is missing, equals 10, because all of it's going to equal 10. So I'm going to put that there in the center, and notice how PowerPoint, like, it shows you the measurements. So from here to here and here to here is the same. See how it does that? Super helpful. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to put in some circles to represent 2. So I'm going to go to Insert Shape. I'm going to insert an oval here. Notice my circle is like totally not even at all. If you double click your shapes, you can go up here and you can tell PowerPoint what size you want. So I'm going to do just a 1 inch all around. So a perfect circle. Perfect. Now sometimes PowerPoint does not give you the option of like putting your circle perfect. It doesn't, like, it just won't go using my mouse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let go of my mouse and I'm going to use my arrow keys on my keyboard. And that gives me just a little bit more control of moving. There we go, that's perfect. So I'm going to copy and paste and then add that here. And you will see now PowerPoint's giving me a little bit more control there. Okay, perfect. Now I should have changed the color of this. I don't want this to be blue. I would prefer that it's black. So I'm going to change both the fill to black and the outline to black. Make sure you remember to change the outline to black because I think just standard, they always make it like that blue color, and so many times I have forgotten to change it and you can't really see it until you print it out and then you have like a blue outline on everything. So just make sure you change that. Alright, so I have my first task card complete, and like I said, this is super simple since this is the first video that we're doing, but you can always go in and you can add clip art over here, you can decorate it more, you can change the color of your background. There's so many different things you can do. But for these purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it pretty plain. Now I do think I'm going to take my table and my circles and I'm going to just move them over just a little bit because I want to put the number 1 here to show that this is number 1. This is task card number 1. The way that I did that, by the way, is I just push shift and I clicked this, holding shift, I clicked this, continuing to hold shift, I clicked my table, and then it kind of grabs everything, and then you can move it around pretty freely. Okay, so then I'm going to go to insert text box, and I'm going to put number 1. I'm going to change that to Century Gothic, and just make it bigger. Perfect. So I do not want to have to go and do that all over again. So I'm going to use the shift, hold down shift, and then click all of these elements again. Click, click, while holding shift, click. Now I'm going to right click, so I've let go of shift, right click, copy, right click, paste. And then I can just move this down. Usually PowerPoint does a pretty good job of kind of like centering you up, so everything is pretty even. For this one, let's do, we'll do 5 on this one. I'm on a Mac, so if I hold down Command D, it actually duplicates all of those. That's how I did that really quickly. If you are not on a Mac, I'm not really sure as far as like how to do it on a PC, but you can always just right click, copy, paste, copy, paste. If you're on a Mac, Control D, that's just like a little quicker tip. So 5 plus blank equals 10. Okay, now if you go over here, since I'm, oh, I need to change that to 2. There we go. So if you go over here, you can right click and duplicate slide, and then you're just going to kind of do all of that again. Now you can change your background, but let me give you a little tip here because this is something that I have done in the past. If you copy your slide and then paste, the background does not show up. So make sure if you want to keep the background there, you do right click and duplicate that slide. If you want to change it, like if you want them all to have different backgrounds, you can. You just go and you find your different backgrounds. One thing I do want to remind you of, if you choose to put this on Teachers Pay Teachers, you will need to do some sort of like clip art credits just to give people credit where credit is due. So I'm going to go see if she has a little button that we can put in there. So insert picture. Usually they do. It doesn't look like she does. So what I'll do is I'll just go back and I'm going to copy. Let's go to her store. Hide C's clip art. And I'm just going to copy her link. And then we can paste that here so people can know where we got the clip art. You know, most of the time sellers do require you to do that. It's not always, but I just like to always make it a good practice just to give them credit where credit is due, especially if they offer it for free. Okay, so I'm not going to go ahead and just like show you all everything here. Basically, you know, I can quickly make another one, make this one say 3, change it to 3. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Did the wrong one. Sorry. Here we go. Change this one to number 3. Duplicate that. Make that 4. So once you get like the template down, you can see how quick you can change all these. Basically, if I were to continue doing this, I would just kind of, I would vary, you know, the numbers that you're starting with, so it's not like in complete order. When you're doing your task card, you don't want it to be in order because then the kids, of course, they will guess. So, but you can see how quick you can make these after you get your template done. And you can vary them, you can make differentiated ones. There's so many different things that you can do with these. Okay, that is it for this little lesson together. Please, any questions you have, put them in the comments. because I'm going to be going live this Friday. Let's see, what date is Friday? Let me look at my calendar really quickly. This Friday, September 4th, I will be going live around 6 p.m. to answer all of your questions. So please feel free to hop on and follow along, or you can catch the recorded version. Something I did forget to do is to do a recording sheet for the task cards. You have to have a recording sheet, of course, but it's super simple. Just insert a text box, making 10 task cards. I'm going to put that in the center, change it to Century Gothic, make it bigger. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to do my little duplicate trick with the Control D, and then I'm going to put name, give the kids a spot to put their name. I'm going to make that smaller. And then for my, no, let's do a table. For my recording sheet, I'm going to insert another table. Let's do 2 columns, 5 rows. Just the same exact thing as I did before. I'm going to change the shading to white and the borders to all around. See, and you will see again how PowerPoint is like super helpful as far as designing with telling you where to put things. There's the center. And then you can go in and you can just type 1. Oh, see, my font is white, and that is another thing. You have to watch the tables. Usually the top part is white and then the other ones are black. So I'm going to change this to Century Gothic. Make it a little bit bigger. And then just copy, paste. I'm going to keep text only so it's the same. Change it to 2. Now I'm going to copy, paste, 3, 4. That looks like it's bolded, so I'm going to take that off. Copy, paste, 5, 6, 7, 8. Copy, paste, 9, and 10. So I have some task cards and I have a recording sheet. I have my clip art credit. On Friday again, I'm going to answer all your questions. And then next week, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do something like this on Google Slides so you can use this digitally and kids can actually like manipulate the things and everything. All right, thank you all so much for following along. I hope this was